Hello everyone, Kier here, and welcome to the InfiNOT podcast. I'm focused on the casual nature of the game, and each week I discuss the new patch, the new card, and my feelings on the game. I am also a part of the Snap Judgments podcasting network, and I'm going to talk about Snap on This with 2 exclamation points. This is hosted by Lauren Whatevs, Ben Roller, and Ree, and it is a fantastic podcast. Sorry if I sound a little disoriented, but genuinely, they are a very good listen. They talk a lot about the game and their experiences and what they're playing. They also have a lot of things to spice up the show, make it unique. They don't just talk about the news. They also talk about a lot of fun stuff. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Now, let's hop into it. Okay, so normally this week would be pretty boring. The only card to talk about is Elixir, and we don't have any updates or anything, but there's going to be a segment at the end here where I'm going to talk about the Golden Gauntlet, my experiences watching it, and just the whole shebang. It is currently 11:06 p.m. I just finished hanging out in the Pulse Glazer watch party with Prashan, which was super fun. Let's get into the new card first, and then we'll talk about the Spotlight variants returning, which I'm not too happy about, and then we'll talk about the Golden Gauntlet. I want to save the best for last. Okay, so let's talk Elixir. Elixir is a 2/3 that says, on reveal, one of your cards destroyed last turn gets revived here. So this card was data mined to be a 1/1 that was activated to revive the last card you destroyed, and apparently that was way too strong, and this is where they landed with it. And despite really liking the animation, I like the character, I think, the effect is cool, I'm going to be skipping this card just because it's so niche. I do think that there's a use case for Elixir in, Misery decks, and I think there's also something to be said about big card decks like Surtur decks using Elixir as, a way to bring back something that's been Shang-Chi'd. That does have a legitimate use, but it's just really restrictive. Right now on SnapFan, he's running a 44% win rate, which is really bad for a card. And obviously this is a go big or go home sort of card, so that would be fine if he was getting a lot of cubes, but it doesn't seem like he's doing that either. So this might be one of the big misses that they've had in a while. The saving grace of Elixir is that he's a 2/3. If he was anything less than a 2/3, I think putting him in a deck would be genuinely a bad use of your slot. But I think because he is a 2/3, that's probably allowing him to go into decks that he wouldn't normally see. So for me, I don't know, man. This might be the first 1 out of 5 that I give a card in a very long time. And I'm not even saying that he doesn't have use cases. It's just they're so niche, they're so rare. It's I don't know if it's worth spending your currency on it. And again, I like the character, and sometimes I can look past the way that the card is doing in order to invest in that. But I just can't do that with Elixir, especially because he doesn't appeal to my type of gameplay, right? So yeah, that's what I got to say about Elixir. Just mediocre, not the biggest fan of the card. Let me know, though, if you come up with something creative. The things that I'm seeing him in is, Misery. I have seen him in, a Sauron deck before, which was really funny. But I'm not super convinced that he's the best. So, yeah, that's where I am. Okay, next thing to talk about is Spotlight cards are returning. So, usually, when a card comes out, right, the idea is they come with a Spotlight card, and or a Spotlight variant, rather, that adds some extra flair to it, makes you feel a little bit more exclusive. And I thought that they would be returning with, a new shop for it, a specific section for the card of the week, and I also thought that it would be with tokens, right? Maybe 3,000 tokens for a Spotlight variant. What we got instead was not great, in my opinion. They're just going to throw it into the shop for 2,400 gold, which is rough, dude. I don't love that personally. Like, let's not beat around the bush. 1,200 gold is expensive, right? That's already expensive. You're already paying like close to $20 if you just wanted to buy the gold for that. And if you wanted to buy the gold to get a Spotlight variant, you would be paying $35, which is insane. That is, like, can I justify $10 to get 700 gold? Maybe, right? Maybe if I really enjoy that card, I play it a lot, and the variant is cool, sure. But that is so expensive for the massive majority of people. I can buy several games on Steam for the same price that this is asking me to pay for a Spotlight variant, which is, it's rough. I don't know if I love that. Now, maybe that's the idea, right? It's just for whales, which is fine. But that's not what it used to be, right? Like, I don't get gold by using my collection track. And I've purposely sacrificed some cards in return for Spotlight variants, because it's something that I enjoy, right? I can't do that now, which is a bit of a shame. I really hope that they end up changing this. Another thing that annoys me right now is the shop has only 8 spots. And it's not 9 spots, right? Because that premium mystery variant, which who's buying that, by the way? That's already taking up a slot. Like, I don't know, man. I think they need to redo that whole thing, but not my favorite change. Let's finally talk about the Golden Gauntlet, okay? So this tournament is huge. Hundreds of players in it. Tons of content creators. And I just finished watching it with the Snap Judgments League Discord. And let me tell you, dude, this whole tournament was wild. The first thing to note is, like, over 50%, I think, of decks were Thanos, which was sort of be expected, but again, it leads to the idea, hey, maybe this card is a problem. In the top 8, half of the top 8 were Thanos. Again, that's a problem, and it went up until the very last game, which I'll talk about momentarily. But Thanos, man, I'm praying that next OTA, which is coming at the end of this month, will finally just get rid of this thing. Part of me has been reconciling with, like, why I hate it so much, why I really just don't like playing against it. And I'll admit right here, I've basically stopped playing ladder. I'm doing a lot of conquest right now, and a large part of that is a lot of the decks that I make for fun, just, they can't do anything against Thanos. Having the Reality Stone at 1 cost means that a lot of location variants can change on a whim. Because they have things like Mockingbird and Thanos in the deck, they don't need to throw a lot of big cards in there, so they have lots of room for tech. And I think we need to get over the idea that having the stones is a downside. They're all upside. All of it is upside, right? And it's even further progressed by the idea that they give you draw. Part of the reason that Agamotto is not running over the meta right now is because his spells don't draw more cards, right? Thanos' stones do. So beyond just, like, how the tournament experience was, seeing this much Thanos has just cemented in my mind that it's a problem, and he needs to go. He needs to be axed. I don't care. I've heard some people say that Thanos is good for the game, and they'd much rather see this than other decks. I can understand that perspective, just not for me. It just completely squashes all of the things that I like playing, and they have tech for everything. Like, trying to attack a Thanos deck is so hard. Even with Darkhawk, you lose because of Shang-Chi or Enchantress or Eliath or whatever. They can just fit it all in without a lot of consequence. So that's where I'm at right now with Thanos. How was the actual tournament experience? It was great. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. It ran for, I want to say close to like 11 or 12 hours. But I did get to watch about 4 hours of it. I watched a little bit of the beginning, and then I stuck around for top 8 and above. it was really exciting. I really, really enjoyed it. And I'll talk about the top 4 in a moment here. But you should know something about me. I'm not like a tournament analysis guy, right? I would actually highly recommend, if you want to get the deets on this kind of stuff, to check out Pulse Glazer with Snap Judgments. I'm sure he's going to post a million videos about it. Also, shout out to KM Best. I'm sure he's also going to talk a lot about it. But yeah, so the whole tournament was really, really fun to watch. And I'm so blown away because this seems so natural for Snap. Like, the feeling I have right now of like getting rallied together with a community to watch some people play Snap under some high pressure. It's like, it's so invigorating. I love it. I love this feeling. Especially in that watch party where I was, I got to chat with some other people. And we were all watching it at the same time and seeing the big reactions and stuff. Just super, super fun. I'm like, I have to know why they don't do this that often. I really, really hope that this tournament showed them that there was interest. At the very least, I hope that it showed them that people do want to see an officially supported Snap tournament. And the best part is, it doesn't really cost them that much. They don't have to like shell out cash, right? The top prizes for this were currency in game with some exclusive titles, a bunch of tokens. First place got 30,000 tokens to be exact, which is insane. But they're losing some virtual money. Like, maybe those people were going to buy that stuff, but it really doesn't come out of their pockets, right? It's not like an out of pocket expense. So I would really, really hope that this happens some more on the official Marvel Snap Twitch channel. Huge shout out, by the way, to the guys that set this up. It was a collaboration between quite a few content creators and some people who have been in the community for a while, like Gunny T, Super Tech God, KM Best, It's Guest Gaming, and if I'm forgetting anyone, I apologize. But those guys coming together to make this tournament happen is genuinely a joy. So huge shout out to those guys. It was genuinely super, super fun. If I see them all over the place, it's because, again, it is late. I have just got off of watching a lot of Snap. I hope that I get to feel this again. Let's get down to brass tacks, though. What were the decks being used? Who was in the top of the top? I'll probably just talk about the top 4. Just because I think it has some of my favorites in there. Okay, so I have the list of top contenders here, and in the top 4, after a ton of games, again, shout out to everybody who participated. There were some legitimately really cool decks that I saw, especially in the earlier pools. But we have Derek Naka, a Japanese player, which is a crowd favorite, and Sizer, a really good player. So watching the top 4 was genuinely really, really, really fun. I think there were a lot of nail-biter decisions. They were really good at snapping. I want to talk about Butt for a moment here, because he was my champ, okay? Butt was running an Emperor Hulkling Pixie deck, and you know what's crazy is this is the deck that I've been playing in Conquest. Not this deck exactly. I think his is actually much better than mine, but it's the same idea, which is super, super cool. I mean, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Hulkling. I've been really championing the card for a while. I think Butt showed off the best of Emperor Hulkling in this tournament. Really, really fun to watch. Again, I won't be reading the full list or anything like that, but the idea was that you had some top end with Emperor Hulkling and Magneto. He had Uncle Ben in here with Killmonger, which is smart because if you're going against a lot of Thanos, especially the ongoing kind, having Killmonger with a payoff with Uncle Ben is actually a really good idea. And then you had some just sort of regular good cards in here, some tech, that kind of thing. So really, really fun to watch. I really enjoyed watching that. Sizer was also in the top 4, and he was running a Move Bounce list, and watching him play that deck makes me feel so dumb, but genuinely really fun. You had, Frigga and Beast at the highest cost, to copy and bounce stuff. You also had Toxin, of course, and a bunch of different move cards. I was happy to see Iron Fist in here. I've seen Iron Fist getting cut from a lot of lists, but in this deck, I think he was used to really great effect. So yeah, you get your dagger and your vulture very big. He also had Sage in here, which came in clutch quite a few times, because even just doing something as simple as like Sage into Frigga can get 2 lanes to a pretty big number. So that was a really enjoyable watch. Now, the villain of the top 4 was Naka, who was running your very stock standard tech Thanos list. So they had Thanos, they had Mockingbird, they had a bunch of tech cards, Red Guardian, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, and then you had the Strange Supreme. The only, like, spicy thing in this list was Loki, which they really had a tendency to play at the wrong time, I've noticed, but as a player, I think that they proved themselves without, necessarily leaning on the deck all that much. But it's hard to deny, like, a lot of the games where they won, they just, like, bullied out with big numbers, right? Again, you have that Thanos and Mockingbird at the top end, and then you have so much tech to take care of a lot of other decks. So that was the big bad guy of the tournament, and the ultimate winner of the tournament, and undefeated, by the way, didn't drop a single one of his games throughout the entire tournament, was Derek, who was running a regular old bounce list. You have things like Hood, Rocket Raccoon, Silver Sable. You bounce those with Beast and Falcon, and then you have an Iron Man in here to really push over the top of certain lanes. He also had Bishop in here, which is like, again, this is like classic bounce. It's kind of crazy. You would expect with all these new cards coming out that he might opt for something a little more explosive, but it really paid off in this tournament. He did a really great job, and watching him play again makes me feel super dumb. He's very smart, very good player. So all of these guys duked it out in the top 4. Ultimately, what we ended up with is Derek at first, Naka second, Butt at 3, and Sizer at 4. And I think they all did incredible, but Derek has clearly proven himself to be an extremely, extremely smart player, so kudos to him. This whole tournament was a joy to watch, and I genuinely hope that we get to see more of this. If you have not checked it out, please, go support the people who are a part of the tournament. Go check out the stream. The VOD is still up. I have no idea if they're going to make a YouTube video on the tournament or not. But if they do, if we can prove to Second Dinner this is something that we want to watch, we can have more tournaments, we can have more hype, we can bring people into this community that haven't been here before. It makes me really hopeful for things. I genuinely get to feel a lot of excitement when tournaments are happening. In totality, that's everything. I know that was a bit of a rambly one, but I'm just like, I'm so hopped up. I'm not, I feel like I just drank, 14 sodas. I'm just like so jittery. This was a lot of fun. As a little reminder, I am posting on YouTube again some Marvel Snap content, and I stream once a week on Wednesdays at 7 or 7:30 p.m. EST. If you have not checked me out there, please do. I'd appreciate a like or a comment on those videos. And if there's one thing that you can remember, it's that I'm InfiNOT. Thanks for listening.